Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. On my channel, it's all about making you crypto fit. That means we discuss stuff like blockchain, cryptocurrencies, most of all Bitcoin, but of course many others as well. And well, we discuss all these different topics in this beautiful world of decentralization. Today we cover a bit of a topic that normally I don't talk so much about, which is trading strategies. But in this case, there was a very interesting article, and I posted it down below with a social media trading strategy. And the strategy is very interesting. And I'm gonna pull up my screen share in a second, but first listen to me here, and then I'll put the screen share so that you can have some details there. The idea behind it is similar to what basically works with stocks with Trump. So with Trump, we have seen, or there's a lot of funds who start to analyze Trump's tweets. And they realized, hey, if Trump does one thing, then the stocks go in one direction. And so what they started to do is they trade just basically after the kind of sentiment that happens with Trump. And so in crypto, they noticed something similar, not with an individual person, but as a general Twitter sentiment or general social media sentiment. So these funds or these traders realized they could kind of deduce with machine learning what's happening on social media, and then they start picking this stuff out, and they kind of try to create and outperform Bitcoin. And we're gonna see if they actually manage to do this and what this actually means. So let's do one thing. Let's go into the screen share, and then let's have a look at this really brief kind of presentation. Basically, they work with 13 different cryptocurrencies. So they do Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Dash, Neo, IOTA, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, Stellar Lumen, Zcash, and Cardano. And they kind of analyze all those 13 coins, all the comments around it, hashtags, all different social media channels, and they start analyzing this, and they kind of start mixing together their portfolio and allow kind of people to kind of benefit from that. And so the interesting first kind of thing is, well, this is never going to work. Come on, social media, are you crazy? I mean, how does social media kind of reflect really the general sentiment? But so the interesting thing is, when you look through and you read through the post and how they're kind of describing all this, they're like, yeah, well, you have a basic tenor. For example, you have the Bitcoin guys, they're always this. The Ethereum guys, they're like this. XRP army is like this. Bitcoin Cash is like this. And so as soon as it starts deviating from this, they kind of adjust their positions and they adjust their entire trading strategy. And so I found this really interesting. Obviously, initially you're kind of skeptical and you're like, I'm not really sure. But then, so here are the numbers, right? And so I'm a numbers person. And so the numbers are unfreaking believable. Now, over the last 2 years, this entire trading strategy kind of returned 281%. So that's almost tripling your money. So it's outperforming Bitcoin, which only returned 41%, by over 200% with this strategy, right? And so at the end, that's always what I look for. I always kind of try to compete against Bitcoin. And so I found this really interesting. Now, obviously, there are a couple caveats to this. And the major thing is, yes, you can do this with stocks, in this case with Trump, but there is one caveat, and that is survivorship bias. And survivorship bias means, well, what happens if these guys tried 100 different strategies over the last 2 years, and 99 didn't work, but this one strategy happens to work, just because this one. And now they're selling us this one strategy. And well, people jumping on top of it, and they're getting all excited. And obviously there is a risk there. So there is the risk of survivorship bias. And actually in many funds, this is what's happening. Companies create 10 funds, 9 don't work, they put one up, they have really great track record, publish that one, and people start investing, and then the fund kind of performs horribly, and they're like, why, what is happening? Well, it's just because it was luck. And in this case, it could be the same thing. So it could be that the last 2 years were just fantastic scenario for this, and outperformed Bitcoin like crazy, but then eventually, actually, it might not do so well going forward. So obviously, that leaves a couple of questions. And on the one hand, I'm quite excited about this possibility because obviously it shows that social media does have some inherent information that is valuable to trading. And you can let me know in the comments right now, or you can let me know in the chat what you think about this. Do you think that's completely crazy? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the chat. Because obviously it leaves up some questions. It leaves up some questions on how many funds did they try at the same time? How many different strategies did they try at the same time just to get to this one? And again, you find more detailed information in the blog post that they made down below, so you can read up on that if you want to, right? That's completely up to you. But at the end, that leaves up some major questions. And on the other hand, it's a very interesting kind of idea going forward, right? So it leaves the question, should you do it, yes or no? So for me, I'm very heavily invested in Bitcoin. I will not change my major strategy. Will I try out the strategy with maybe 1% of my crypto funds? Sure, I'm open. Like I'm always like, you always need to have a little bit of your funds, right, to kind of satisfy that adrenaline that you need. And I might try it out, right, and I might play around, and I'm okay with this. But I'll definitely not go and kind of invest now all my large portfolio into this and try this out, right? But again, would be interesting to hear kind of a bit of your opinion and get your spin of this. To me, it was very interesting reading this and very impressive returns. So definitely nothing to underestimate. So I hope that kind of was a very quick Friday session